Your body sinks into the mattress, the room breathes softly, but your mind, that untethered beast, continues writing stories. It replays conversations. It searches for enemies in the shadows. The clock reads 3 in the morning, and you are still awake, staring at the ceiling as if it were a map of all your defeats. That night is not an accident. It is the result of 8 hours surrendering your attention to everything except yourself. It is the price of a mind that never learned to surrender. It is what happens when the body begs for peace and the mind refuses to listen. But there is another way. For millennia, Buddhist masters have understood something that modern medicine is only beginning to discover. Sleep is not a failure of wakefulness. Sleep is a skill. And like all skills, it can be trained. Today you will discover 10 teachings that transform your bedroom into a temple. 10 practices that calm not only the body, but the true enemy, a mind that does not know how to let go. This is not about sleeping more. It is about sleeping differently. It is about arriving at bed not as someone surrendering to exhaustion, but as someone returning home. Let us begin. First teaching: the mind follows the body. The most common mistake is believing the mind must calm first. People lie down and then wait for inner silence to arrive like a ghost. It never does. Buddhist monks discovered a different truth centuries ago. The body is the first teacher. If you calm the body, the mind has no choice. It must follow. Imagine a turbulent river. You do not fight it. You cross it slowly, with precision. The same happens with you. When you get into bed, the enemy is not insomnia. It is the tension accumulated in your muscles. It is the shoulders raised. It is the jaw clenched. It is the breathing still racing from the day's adrenaline. Here comes the first gesture. From the top of your head to the soles of your feet, journey through each area of your body, not to observe, to release. Forehead softened. The eyes lower, as if someone placed a feather upon them. The cheeks relax. The mouth opens slightly. The tongue falls from the palate like a leaf. The shoulders descend. They do not only lower, they sink into the bed. Continue descending. The chest breathes differently when you release your neck. The stomach lets go of what it was gripping. The lower back makes contact with the mattress. The legs grow heavy. The feet rest. This scan takes 3 minutes, but it is not a scan to analyze. It is a conversation. You tell each part, you can let go. You are safe here. You do not need armor. The body listens. And when the body surrenders, the mind stops fighting. Second teaching: only the breath is real. Your mind plays a dangerous game each night. It shows you movies, that meeting tomorrow, that email you never answered, that argument from last month that you review as if seeing it enough times could change it, that uncomfortable truth about yourself. The enemy is clear. It is memory that will not release. It is foresight that builds futures that may never arrive. Buddhist masters teach a simple technique. When the mind moves toward the past or the future, you have an anchor that is always with you. Always. Your breath. You do not need complicated techniques here. It is not box breathing. It is not countdown breathing. It is simply noticing it. Lie down. Your body is already relaxed. Now only observe how the air enters. Cool in the nostrils, warm in the throat. It expands your chest. It fills your belly. Then it leaves. Warm in the chest, cool as it exits. You do not control the breath. You accompany it. Like someone watching the footsteps of a loved one pass by. Every time a thought tries to carry you away, return to that simple movement. In, out, the mind finally understands. There is no battle here. Only breath. Only presence. And in that presence, sleep arrives like water, finding its level. Third teaching: the body has its own wisdom. Modern culture teaches a fundamental lie. It says your body is the enemy, that it must be dominated, controlled, transformed. That is why you fight against sleep. You tell yourself you still have energy. You tell yourself tomorrow is important. You tell yourself just 20 more minutes of screens. Then you lie down with the mental velocity of someone who just stepped off a train traveling at 100 kilometers per hour. Buddhist monks understand something different. Your body knows, it always has, when it needs rest, when it has received enough, when it is ready to let go. The problem is that the mind has placed a veil over that wisdom. It has adorned it with arguments, with excuses, with the illusion that reason is more trustworthy than sensation. Here comes the second gesture of the night. Lie down and ask, not from the mind, from the body. What do I need now? Sometimes the answer is more warmth, an extra blanket, a change of position. Sometimes the answer is silence, white noise, someone nearby. Do not ignore that answer. Do not judge it. The body speaks an ancient language, much older than words. It is the language of rest. When you honor what the body asks for, something strange happens. The mind becomes quieter. The body and mind stop being enemies. They stop being two. They return to unity. And in that unity, deep sleep is possible. Fourth, teaching. Regret does not belong to you after dusk. There it is again, that thing you said in the meeting, the tone you used with someone you loved, the mistake you made, the opportunity you let pass. Your mind brings it to bed. It places it on your pillow like a third person in the room. Then, it spends the entire night rewriting the scene, imagining different dialogues, searching for the solution that will never come. This is a very particular form of suffering. It is the suffering of someone who has not learned that time flows in one direction. Buddhist masters identified this centuries ago. They said, regret has a place. It is during the day. It is when you can still act. It is when the mistake is a living teaching. But at night, regret becomes something else. It becomes a cage you build in your own mind. Here comes the third practice. When regret arrives at your bed, do this. Sit for a moment. Do not try to sleep. Only acknowledge there was a mistake. The truth. Do not deny that. But it is now complete. It already happened. It will not travel to the past with you. Then write this in your mind as if it were carved in stone. If I can repair this tomorrow, I will. If I cannot, I will carry it as a lesson, but I will not carry it tonight. Then let go. Literally. Open your hand. Imagine that regret leaves you like a bird finally set free. It is not denial. It is temporal wisdom. It is understanding that at 3 a.m, regret is not useful. It is only noise. And deep sleep requires silence. Fifth teaching. Gratitude is the fastest antidote. Your mind, in the darkness, has a special ability. It can hunt for problems like a hunter hunts prey. That debt you have, that relationship that is cooling, that illness growing slowly, that job consuming you. The mind moves through them all like someone counting scars. But there exists an antidote as old as the mind itself. Gratitude. Not the performative gratitude you see on social media. It is not the act of listing things to appear as a good person. It is a real shift in the direction of your attention. Buddhist monks know this. When the mind is trapped in what is missing, gratitude is the key that opens the door. Here comes the fourth practice of the night. Before resting your head, remember 3 things that happened today that did not have to happen. They can be tiny. They do not need to be monumental. A coffee that tasted good. A person who smiled in the hallway. A moment when it did not rain when it seemed it might. A song you heard at exactly the right moment. A wordless connection with someone on the bus. The mind would want to ignore this. It would want to jump directly to the problem. But here you insist. 3 things, without dramatizing, without embellishment. Then you breathe deeply and say in the stillness, that happened. That was here. I saw it. Gratitude does not erase problems, but it moves your attention away from them. And when your attention shifts toward what is present, toward what already went well, the body calms, the mind releases its grip, and deep sleep becomes possible. Sixth teaching. Every night you are a different person. Here is a truth that the modern mind rejects. You are different every night. The cells that formed your body 7 years ago no longer exist. The thoughts you had a month ago are no longer here. The beliefs that sustained you have been altered. The I that went to bed yesterday is not the I going to bed today. And that is liberating. Because it means the mistakes of yesterday do not have to define you tonight. It means the shame from a week ago is speaking about someone who no longer exists. Buddhist masters called it not self. The understanding that what we believe is solid, permanent, fixed is actually a constant flow, a river that changes every instant. Here comes the fifth practice. When you lie down, tell yourself this with sincerity, not like a catchy mantra, as a truth you are remembering. The person who makes mistakes during the day is not entirely me. The person who experiences failure is not the one resting in this bed. I have died multiple times. I have been reborn multiple times. Tonight is another rebirth. It does not need to be poetic, but it needs to be sincere. Because when you understand that you are not what you did, what you said, what you failed at, then you can let that go. Then bed is not a place where you contend with who you are. It is a place where you allow yourself to be something new. And in that freedom, deep sleep is natural. Seventh teaching, external silence cultivates internal silence. Your bedroom is probably not silent. There are hums. There's the glow of distant lights. There's the murmur of the city. There are notifications you cannot hear but whose pulse you feel. But there is something worse than external noise. It is the noise you allow in. One last look at your phone, a podcast you listen to while relaxing, a series you watch in bed, a video of someone online preaching about relaxation while you absorb their energy, their voice, their presence. The enemy is clear. It is stimulation. Buddhist masters thousands of years ago did not have this problem, but they understood the principle. External silence prepares internal silence. If the ear constantly receives input, the mind can never rest. It is always alert, always waiting for the next sound. Here comes the sixth practice. 1 hour before sleep, create a zone of silence. It is not total silence. It is chosen silence. It means the television turns off. The phone goes into airplane mode. The music stops. What remains is the sound of life, your breathing, the distant noise of the city, the wind, crickets if you are fortunate. Your mind panics. It says you will be bored. It says you will lose information. It says you need to be informed, connected, available. But that is the mind trained like an attack dog. It needs to learn new behavior. Remain in the silence even if it hurts. Remain in the silence even if you feel something is missing. Because after 10 minutes, something happens. The mind finally lets go. The breathing becomes deeper, the body heavier, and deep sleep is just steps away. Eighth teaching, darkness is not the enemy. In modernity, darkness has been redefined as a problem. Rooms are illuminated. Eye masks are used to create artificial darkness. The dim is feared as if it were something to be dominated. But Buddhist masters understand something different. Darkness is information. It is the language of rest. It is what the body says. When evening arrives, it is the invitation that nature extends every day. Your body has a clock. It is called a circadian rhythm. And for millions of years, it evolved under the cycle of light and darkness. When the sun sets, your body releases melatonin. When there is light, it stops. But now you live in a world where it is always midday. The lights in your room, the street, the devices, deceive your body. They tell it that it is still time to be alert. That is why you do not sleep. Here comes the seventh practice. It is not revolutionary, but it is crucial. Darken your bedroom like it is a cave. Close the curtains. Cover the lights on your devices. If necessary, use blackout curtains. Create the night that modernity tries to prevent. Then, when you lie down, allow your eyes to close. Do not force them. Only allow. Darkness is safety. It is where ancestors slept. It is where the body was designed to rest. When you honor that, when you let darkness be what it is, something opens in you. An ancient memory, a primordial trust, and deep sleep arrives like a hand that was always waiting for you to take it. Ninth teaching. Temperature is conversation with your body. There is something most people never consider. The temperature of your room is speaking to every cell in your body. It is telling it whether it is safe to relax or whether it should remain vigilant. If it is too hot, the body interprets that as danger. There might be a fire. Something is wrong. Stay alert. If it is too cold, the same. The danger is different, but the conclusion is identical. The body tenses. Buddhist masters knew this. They understood that relaxation requires a dialogue between the body and the environment. The ideal temperature for deep sleep is between 60 and 66 degrees Fahrenheit. For some people it is slightly warmer, for others slightly cooler. But the principle is simple. It is cool enough that your body does not sweat, warm enough that it does not shiver. Here comes the 8th practice. Experiment. Adjust the temperature each night for a week. Observe when your body feels most peaceful. When there is less tossing, less position changes, fewer awakenings. When you find that temperature, protect it. It is valuable information about how your body works. Then, when the temperature is right, something else happens. Your body lets go. It did not know what it had been waiting for. But when the temperature is just, when the environment says, "Here, it is safe. Here, you can relax. Here, there are no threats," then the body believes. And when the body believes, deep sleep is inevitable. 10th teaching. Ritual is the master key. Everything we have explored becomes powerful when it becomes a ritual, not a rigid ritual you perform out of obligation. A ritual as Buddhist masters understand it, a sequence of acts that communicate to your mind and body that something important is occurring. Ritual is power. It is the way humans say, "This part of life is sacred." Your body does not understand words. It understands patterns. It understands repetition. It understands that when A happens, B always follows. So here comes the ritual of deep night. 1 hour before sleep, screens turn off. It is non-negotiable. 30 minutes before, you bathe or wash. Water has properties of purification that go beyond hygiene. It communicates a change, a transition from one state to another. 15 minutes before, you put on comfortable clothes, clothes that say, "I do not expect urgency, I expect rest." 10 minutes before, you prepare your bed. It is not making the bed, it is creating a nest, a place that exists only for you, only for rest. 5 minutes before, you lie down. And then, only then, you begin the practice. The body scan. Conscious breathing. Gratitude. Silence. What happens is alchemy. Your mind begins to anticipate. When it sees the screens turn off, it starts to prepare. When it feels the water, it knows something changes. When it wraps itself in comfortable clothes, the descent begins. Ritual is the bridge. It is what communicates to your body. It is time. It is safe. It is now. And when your body understands it is time, deep sleep is not a battle. It is a joyful surrender. The closing. You have heard 10 teachings. They are not 10 techniques to conquer sleep. They are 10 ways of understanding that deep sleep is a natural state that has been blocked by the way we live. The true enemy is not insomnia. It is a mind that never learned to let go. It is a body that was trained to always be on guard. But that can change. Tonight, if you choose, it can be different. Begin with just one practice. Do not do all of them. Choose the one that resonates most with you, the one you feel you need, and repeat it every night for a week. Then, when it is anchored, add another. Because deep sleep does not arrive in one blow. It arrives through repetition. It arrives with patience. It arrives when you finally accept that you deserve to rest. Your bed is not a place of battle. It is a temple. Now it is time to come home. If this teaching served you, share this truth with someone who also struggles against the night. Subscribe to keep learning how to inhabit rest with the peace that ancient masters already knew. And when you close your eyes tonight, remember, deep sleep is not a luxury. It is your natural right. You simply needed to remember how to reclaim it.